Hi guys, this is Caroline with Skinny Keto, and I wanted to talk about optimal macros for weight loss. So when you decide you're going on a ketogenic diet and you type in what kind of macros do I need online, most of the time you will get 70 to 75% for fat, 20 to 25% for protein, and 5% for carbs. So that is considered the standard ketogenic diet. Those are the standard macro percentages for a ketogenic diet. But that does not mean necessarily that those percentages are optimal for weight loss. So there is a difference between medical ketosis, then maintenance ketosis, and weight loss ketosis. So I just wanted to show the difference or make you understand that 70 to 75% fat macro is not always optimal for fat loss. So ketosis itself is great for weight loss because what it does, it actually makes you less hungry. So when you're less hungry, you can be in a calorie deficit and you will lose weight. So if you go out and you calculate your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, you will have to decide at what calorie deficit do I want to be. Do I want to be at 20 or do I want to be at 25%? So you will get that online. You can type that in and it will give you your TDEE. And then out of that, you will have to decide what kind of calorie deficit do I have to be at. 20 to 25% is a great start. I think most of people could start at 25%. If you're a little heavier and you just don't want to go into a large deficit, you can start at 15 or 20%. So you have figured that out. So a lot of people say that keto, when you do a keto diet, you actually don't have to go into a calorie deficit and you will still lose weight. Well, that is not always the case. Most of the time, once you actually lost a bunch of weight, if you were really heavy, your weight loss will stall. You will have to be in a calorie deficit. Most people say, well, insulin is low, so I don't have to do that because the storage hormone is not very active at that point and I will not store any fat. But still, if you eat more calories than you burn every day, you will need to adjust that at one point. Like if you want to get really lean, you will have to go into a calorie deficit. And why not take advantage of the fact that you're not very hungry when you're doing a keto diet? So why not set your macros up at a slight deficit to get optimal fat loss, to get there sooner, get to your goal a lot faster? Like I don't understand why people don't do that. It's so easy to do. So when you calculate your TDEE and your deficit, the second thing you will have to decide on is your protein requirement. So again, people say, well, keto has to be high fat, moderate protein, and low carb. Yes, it has to be. But your protein requirement would have to be calculated on your own requirement. Like, am I a sedentary person or do I work out a lot? And there is an established range for protein on a ketogenic diet, which is 0.6 gram per pound of lean body mass for people that are either type 2 diabetics or have a sedentary lifestyle. And then that goes up to 1 gram per pound of lean body mass for people that are gym rats, that work out 5 times a day, that lift a lot. So I guess whenever I calculate macros, I start people out most of the time at 0.7, unless they tell me that they are very insulin sensitive and very insulin resistant and they are type 2 diabetics. So at that point, I would probably go with 0.6 or 0.65. So you will need your lean body mass and then you calculate your protein macro. So you will get your calories for your protein and then you will subtract the calories from your TDEE. And then you will subtract your carb calories. Most of the time you should stay between 20 and 25% net carbs to get and remain in ketosis. So that is around 100 calories a day. So you will take your protein calories, and then you will take your carbohydrate calories and you will subtract that from your TDEE at the deficit, of course. And so what is left over now are your fat calories. So fat has a 9 calories per gram of energy. So whatever calories you have left, you will divide by 9 and you will get your fat macro. So if I do that at 0.7 grams for my fat macro, that will most of the time bring me up to about a 25 to 30% protein macro. That is a great macro for protecting your lean body mass. You need to protect your muscle. What happens if you don't eat enough protein on a keto diet is, number one, you will lose muscle. And when you lose muscle, your total daily energy expenditure will go down because muscle is what burns a lot of energy, right? So you don't want to lose muscle on a ketogenic diet. You want to do everything to protect that. And then another thing that happens when your protein macro is very low is you're going to have hair loss. Protein is a very important macronutrient in your body. It regulates a lot of functions in the body. It protects your organs. It makes your hair grow and all of these things. So please don't skimp on protein. Protein really is the most important macro to stay fit and make sure that everything in your body works well. So what do I do next? So I have figured out my protein macro, I have my fat macro, and I have my carb macro. So for weight loss, normally, like really the best fat macro to take advantage of the fact that I am in a slight calorie deficit is 60 to 65%. Your protein macro could be 25 to 30%. And then your carbs between 5 and 10. I mean, you will need to stay around the 25. Some people can go up to 30, some people have to stay at 20. So it really depends. When you start out, what you should do, for the first week or so, you should eat to satiety. So whenever you're hungry, eat something keto. Eat some keto foods until you feel like you're full. Don't worry about calories, don't worry about fat. Just make sure that you reach your protein macro and everything else will fall into place. So within a week, going into the second week, you will notice that you will be a lot less hungry. So ketosis kicks in, and that wonderful side effect of ketosis, hunger regulation, will kick in as well. And then that is the time when you should really start tracking your macros and make sure that you hit your protein. So now with fat, you are calculated at a deficit. So reaching your fat macro at this point is okay. You don't have to. But you also have to understand, if you're not very hungry, it is totally okay not to reach your fat macro. Because every gram that you stay below on your fats will come from your fat reserve. Like, your body needs to get energy from somewhere, and it is going to take it from your fat storage. So that will also optimize fat burning, and it will just really increase your weight loss by so much. I mean, eating at TDEE is just so tedious and so slow. And I mean, I always say, by the time people that stick to their TDEE lose weight, I've already am in maintenance. You will lose weight a lot faster if you take into account that part of your fat macro should really come from your body fat. This is really the magic or the secret to doing keto for weight loss. That is really something that is close to my heart, and it breaks my heart when I'm on the keto forums on Facebook and I see people, I don't understand. I lost 10 pounds the first 2 weeks and then now I'm stalling. So you're asking, well, what are your stats? You know, I'm at 75% fat. What is your TDEE calculated at? Well, I'm not really in a deficit. That is the problem. You will not lose a lot of weight, especially when you start out at a lower weight. I mean, lower weight, I'm talking 200 pounds or less. It really makes a big difference to right away adhere to the 60 to 65% fat macro. So this is all I wanted to talk about. I know it was a lot of information. I'm going to try to break down what I talked about into several other videos. So I'm going to do a video about protein requirement. I'm going to do a video about fats, and I'm going to do a video about carbohydrates. So I will just break it down. But yeah, like, I cannot emphasize it enough. It's really important to get correct weight loss macros for your own requirements. Protein requirement, fat requirement, carb requirement. Don't just trust, you know, the crazy calculators that you find online. Like, you need to understand how macros are calculated and how the different percentages will affect weight loss for you. So yeah, that was a lot of talking. But anyways, I hope I hope that I could give you some food for thought, and I just want everybody to be successful and lose the weight you want and be able to maintain it forever and ever and stay keto, because keto rocks. Okay, that was me. Take care. Bye-bye.